Hi there, welcome to Let's Talk Tottenham. I'm a little bit behind the curve here today. This is a Watford review and I'm about a week behind because I got completely confused with Monday was bank holiday. But it's also the transfer window review, which hopefully people have calmed down. I certainly have. Hopefully Brian Daigle and Daniel will be joining us a bit later on, hopefully. But if not, I'm still got a brilliant guest on, Eujin from Spursuasian TV. How are you doing, sir?
Hi, Chris. Thanks for having me on. Always a pleasure to be on your stream, right? To talk about Spurs.
Oh, no problem. Always a pleasure to have you on. So I mentioned Spursuasian TV. Anyone who doesn't know about that, what is that and where can they find you?
Oh, Spursuasian TV is a channel that I created somewhere in April, inspired by Will THFC Rants. He actually gave me the name. What we do is that we try to link up the Asian Spurs fans with the international fans, right? So I do a lot of shows based with Asian-based fans from India Spurs, and also especially I'm from Malaysia, right? And of course we do a lot of neutral streams too with fans from Asia that are into Liverpool, Manchester United, right? And building it up, and all fans of the clubs are also all fans of football, right? That's what I believe. All fans of football.
Excellent. If you don't check it out already, check it out. The link and the script will be in the description on the video. For me, on Monday, I'm doing a Premier League preview. So any fans of any of the Premier League clubs, if you want to come on, DM me. I sent a tweet out about that. And also, I'm on 88 subscribers. So hopefully I can get to 100 by the Palace game. So please subscribe and help that out. And obviously smash the likes if you're watching or watching on repeat. Yeah. So let's get into it. Watford review, 3 out of 3. We can't really ask for anything more, even if the performances haven't been superb. But yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on the game? Obviously, it's been over a week now and other things have happened. I was trying to think of it yesterday and I was struggling to think of exactly what happened. It's been so long. But yeah, I mean, 3 out of 3, no goals conceded. Hasn't been the most free-flowing football, but start of the season, things are a little bit rusty. Thoughts on the start of the season and in particular the Watford game?
I look at the Watford game, as something that Nuno is trying to build on, right? Because with the transfer window transfer window came after deadline. Transfer window deadline came after the Watford game. So more or less the squad hasn't settled yet. So we still do not know what Nuno has in plan, how is he going to play, what formation he's going to use. And of course, with the international break coming along, Giovanni Lo Celso and Romero has gone back to the Argentinas to play for their country. And by the time they come back and get ready for everything, I guess they'll be most probably be in the first team by October. That's how I see it. I don't see them being back that early because of all the quarantines and after that the training. If we're lucky, maybe the first week of October. If not, then maybe mid of October to see them play. And while that's happening, what Nuno has done is that he's brought back the spirit of teamwork, right? He's brought back confidence, all right? And like Ali said, right, the camaraderie is back with the team, right? That was the most important thing. We are performing like a team now. We are fighting like a team. And a lot of our players are putting a lot of hard work into it, right? So kudos to Nuno. And to tell you the truth, 3-0, no score, no goals against, even if it's 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, right? If it takes it all the way through the season, I don't mind. Right? We are so desperate. I don't mind, right? But of course, we still want to play the Spurs way. Give Nuno time. I think he will find the proper formation with the proper players, right, to bring us forward, right? And don't forget, Nuno keeps saying, don't look at the table now. Don't look at the table. Yeah, that's the most important thing. Yeah.
I say to look at the table. Take a picture, frame it up on your wall.
I know that one you have to take. You have to take the whole list, because Arsenal at the bottom.
Hi there, Daniel. Thanks so much for coming on. I know it's really early where you are.
No problem.
Yeah, I was just saying that I completely missed. I completely forgot the bank holiday here was a Monday, so I didn't do a stream. So I'm a bit behind the curve doing a review of the Watford game after a week. But yeah, I mean, I'll ask the same question I asked Eugene. 3 out of 3, 0 goals conceded. Wasn't the most free-flowing game against Watford, and not really a stuttering start, but not the free-flowing game you expect. It could be beginning of the season, teams getting used to playing, and certainly a new system and a new manager. What were your thoughts of the Watford game overall?
Well, look, as much as I want to say Son meant to score that, I honestly think it wasn't. He didn't mean to score it. I think it was just a cross that he got lucky, and the keeper almost got stuck to the ground because he jumped away too late for that. So I think it was all the keeper's fault. But then, I mean, I love seeing Moussa Sissoko sky the ball into the parking lot. Beautiful scenes. Beautiful scenes. But I love the round of applause and that we gave him for the time that he's been at the club. What he's given to us, because he might not be the most talented, but he did give us all. And that's something that we ask a lot of our players to do. And Moussa Sissoko was one of those players. But we also got rid of Serge Aurier. Today it's come out that he's considering a move to the filth.
Well, yeah.
I mean, when I don't put it in the level of Sol Campbell, because when Sol Campbell, when he was going to the Invincibles, now he's going to be going to the Unwinners, the team that hasn't won one game, or the
Daniel,
the Invincibles,
Aurier could be our mole.
Is he going there, or is that just paper talk because they know it will make news, like a Spurs player going to Arsenal? But yeah, it's interesting you mentioned Sol Campbell. It's completely different, isn't it? Because Sol Campbell decided to run his contract down, whereas from what I understand, the Aurier thing was a mutual, we'll cut your contract out. But I mean, how do you feel about that, Eugene? Because I don't hate Aurier. I think he obviously played when his brother died, which he obviously didn't need to do. He could have easily said, I need a week off there. He obviously made mistakes. I've put that down to he's got mistakes in him, but also the amount of pressure that was on him because we didn't have the ball and the constant pressure on the defence. But again, Levy refuses to sell players if he doesn't get the amount of money he wants for them. Yet he's obviously paid a compensation to Aurier because he's got time left on his contract. So that's what kind of annoyed me a little bit. But I mean, in terms of Aurier, are you sad to see him go? Happy to see him go? Bit indifferent?
I'm gonna miss those.
Yeah, Dan, you're gonna miss all the mistakes he makes, right? But to tell the truth, Aurier to me is that once if you have a mutual consent of terminating the contract, right, whether a compensation package is being given, and usually if there's a compensation package given, there will be always condition that you can't do this, you can't do that, right? Because I'm paying you money just to leave, all right? So most probably, if Levy is smart enough, most probably you can't play in the top. Most probably Levy will say you can't play in the top 6 teams in the Premier League. But look at the Premier League standings now. Good one, right? Good one. Okay. But not to laugh at Arsenal too much. Okay. I don't want bad karma to come on us.
No, I encourage that. Eugene, laugh as much as you want. But yeah,
I encourage it.
But no. I'll laugh inside, but not show people. So don't bring bad karma. Don't bring bad karma to a club. We're top now, right? So, but for Aurier, what he's given and what he has taken, and now he has left, I will always wish a person, as a human being, all the best, right? You still need to work. You need to put food on the table for your family, right? He's a footballer. Of course, if he goes to Arsenal, there'll be some kind of thing on it, right? But if he goes to Arsenal and screws up, right? So then it'll be, then the world will say, Aurier is a mole for Spurs, right? But wherever he goes, best of luck. Like I said, I don't like to hate players anymore because there's too much hate in the world, right? You can dislike them, you can criticize them, right? But I don't use the word hate.
Not even for Sol Campbell.
Tell the truth, no. Not even for Sol Campbell. Oh. Come on, Sol Campbell is so many years passed by, right? If you want to put so much hate on Sol Campbell, right? Why isn't that so much hate for who? Our great chairman, right? Hasn't got us anything for so many years. Correct, and he's not even looked into the football, right? Why don't we hate him more? Correct. And why should we hate? Come on. Every player is a human being. Every player has its own ambitions, right? Like I said, everyone, when you put it down, if you look deep inside, right? If you want for your own gains and you become, to a certain extent, you look at your own self gains, yourself first before other people, because you have to look after your family. You know, there's a lot of stories behind it. It's not to say that, oh, you're going, you know, for whatever, you're going there just to spite us or whatever, okay? But maybe he did, all right? Maybe he had a fallout with you know who, right? And he went there to spite us, but maybe he went there to spite you know who, not us. But in the process, right, it looks like that. But like too much hate in football. We can criticize, we can say whatever you want to say, but don't go to the extent becomes abusive. Then I don't like that part of it. I don't like the abusive part of it. There's too much abuse in the world already, right? There are too many things that's going wrong, and football is heading in that direction, you know, with all the social media and all that. So no, I don't condone that, really.
No. What do you think, Daniel, of Aurier? Obviously, all of his goals, assists are going to be forgotten and playing when his brother died, because he's just known as someone who just made mistake after mistake after mistake, which I think is a little unfair. And I didn't hate him. Well, I didn't dislike him, really. I quite liked him. It's just if he could cut those mistakes out, which I do think are in part because the amount of pressure that the defence was under, then he could have been a good player for us. But obviously, it's not a sour taste but you know, it's not the greatest exit being that we'll just cancel your contract. But yeah, how do you rate his time at Spurs? And are you sad to see him go, or happy to see him go, or a bit indifferent?
I don't think he was the top of the list of the Deadwood, but I think he was on the list. The fans were not happy with him. Managers were not happy with him. And we got a right back that we needed. I think if we would have kept Serge Aurier, we would have been like England with 10 right backs, you know. We're almost getting on that level. So we got to get rid of a little bit of a right back. There's no team that were coming in for Serge Aurier. I think if there was a team that was coming in for him, we would have sold him like that. But since there was no team, Daniel Levy and Tottenham decided to terminate his contract. I'm not sure if that was the correct decision to go about it, but I mean, hope for the best. Hope for the best for Serge Aurier, and please don't go to Arsenal. If you're watching this video, Serge, don't do it for the Tottenham fans. Don't do it for your career. You'd be better off joining Burnley
or Newcastle,
or Norwich, or Watford.
Yeah.
Or any other team, because Arsenal.
But one thing I do respect him is that actually he terminated his contract on mutual consent. A lot of other players would just sit down and run it out, right, and just take the money, you know, and play in the under 23s, okay, and wait until, right, how is it? Yeah, his contract is over. So, but I think he wants to play. That's why he terminated his contract on mutual consent. He wants to play. So he wants to play at the top level. And don't forget, a lot of these guys, right, want to fight for a spot for next year's World Cup. You see, they want to fight for a spot for next year's World Cup. So I guess they have to play consistently, right? They have to play consistently.
Yeah.
I mean, Daniel, how do you think that will affect this guy, Ndombele? He's obviously lost his buddies now, Sissoko and Aurier, if Paper Talk is led to believe. Do you think that will have a negative effect, that my buddies are gone, I'm going to sulk? Or do you think it will have a positive effect, my buddies are gone, I've got no one to hide behind now, I've got to force my way through? Or do you think I want to leave, which was said during the end of the transfer window, is basically done and dusted now, and he's just waiting for the exit door?
I think it's a bit of a situation when, you know, in primary school, and there's two kids that are talking nonstop, and the teacher separates them. Or the kid leaves to another school. And then he starts performing because he has no one to chit-chat about. That's how I think the situation could go down. I think Ndombele needs to start putting the burger down and start picking up some weights. Because, yeah, but I'll be honest, he's picked up a little bit of a belly. He's got a little bit more fit now, but still, I mean, he's got to pick himself up. His career was looking good last season. Now it's looking in the bin. I mean, we got an offer from Bayern, which I don't know why we didn't take. It's Tolisso plus 20 mil. I would have been happy with that. Because I rate Tolisso. And 20 mil probably could have helped us get one top class player. He could have helped us got a few.
Which position does Tolisso play in?
Same position as Tanguy.
Oh, then too many right backs, bro. Yeah.
Tolisso's not a right back.
But that's an issue
Oh.
with Levy, isn't it? He paid 60
Yeah.
million for him. He's not going to accept 20. He wants his money back, which is an issue that, you know, I'm sure on this stream has been mentioned. On pretty much every Tottenham stream will have been mentioned time and time again.
I have a question for you guys. The transfer window is shut, but the Championship transfer window is still going on. Is there any player that you think we should go in for in the transfer window for the Championship?
Mm-hmm. You want to go first, Chris, or shall I go?
Well, to be honest, I don't really know that much about the Championship, so I'll end up just talking.
When the window shut, I did go through the list of strikers, right, or top scorers in the Championship, and there's one guy that stands out. There are two actually, but one is Kiefer Moore, but Kiefer Moore is a bit too old, right? And there's one guy called Ben Brereton. If you've not heard before, he's born in England with a Chilean mother or something like that. He plays for Chile now. He looks like a good shout, but as a backup striker, I don't mind getting one from the Championship just to put somebody in between Scarlett and Kane, just in case if Kane gets injured or something like that. So at least, you know, somebody can step in to not put all the pressure on the young boy. That should look like a good shout at that point. But unless we use our youth coach, right? We just got employed a new youth coach. I can't remember.
Ryan Mason.
No, not Ryan Mason. There's a new guy that came in from Bolton or something like that. I can't remember. Maybe if we use him, right? Then maybe we can find someone. But I don't think Paratici has any links down in the Championship. McBurney from Sheffield United. Okay.
And Bob.
Says,
Not too young.
Bob Spur is literally beat you by 2 seconds to McBurney. Hi, Bobby.
No.
He's also,
I'm reading from Bob. Yeah.
I don't know what you've said. I don't know what you've said, Dan, but he wants to know if you're too old to be told to pee off. But yeah, I think that's very rude. But good support of the stream. Hi, Bob Spur. How you doing?
Yes, Bobby.
Yeah. The one that I'm annoyed about was Rondon, who's gone to Everton. He was free. I know it's not Championship, but he was free. He's got Premiership experience. He's got a bit of presence about him. It reminds me similar of the Llorente backup striker, but I can't believe we didn't go for him.
But Rondon is a Benitez boy. He won't come to us.
Yeah,
he belongs to Benitez, right?
Well,
he left Newcastle because of that, right? Because Benitez was removed.
Yeah, but
then he went to China or something.
I didn't even know he was free, and then all of a sudden it's announced that he's gone to Everton on a free. So if we'd have looked into that 2 months ago, Everton wouldn't have been interested, and then we'd have been able to get him. But I just don't understand that. But we'll come on to the whole transfer thing.
2 months ago, we didn't even have a proper manager yet.
Well, that's another issue. But we'll come on to the transfer stuff in a bit. But just back to the Watford game before we move on. Obviously, it was exactly the same team with one change, and that's Harry Kane. So how do you think Eugene Kane did? He's obviously looking a bit off the pace, which is understandable, being that he didn't really have a pre-season. And he never scores in August anyway, apart from one season I think he did. He obviously scored for England yesterday, but you saying off air he missed a hatful as well. But you still get him to fitness. Obviously, the transfer saga could have had an effect. So I think he'll obviously come good. He's too good a player to just be scoring like 10 goals a season. But the Watford game, how do you think he did?
I think the Watford game was the Watford formation that actually they parked the bus. All right, They parked the bus, and whenever Harry Kane had the ball in the middle of the field, you have at least 3 players on him, minimum. So that stifled him. So Harry Kane will need some time to regain his full fitness, to get back into groove, right? To pick up the correct pass, which I saw yesterday during the England match. It's coming back. But of course, he needs his shooting boots back too. I guess Harry Kane wasn't that effective. And like Dan said earlier, right? that Son goal was more or less by luck, but I don't care. A goal is a goal. It's whether it's an own goal or a lucky goal, but it was on target. That's why it went in. Correct. It was off target. It wouldn't go in. That's all.
Well, I think it was a clever free kick. He's crossed that in looking for a touch, but made sure it's on target. So if it doesn't, it goes in. I think it was a clever one. But I mean, Kane, Daniel, how do you think he did against Watford? And in terms of getting back to full fitness, the goal yesterday, I'm assuming he played the full game for England and scored a goal, will help with that. Certainly goal will help with his confidence. When do you think he'll be back to full fitness, and how do you think he did against Watford?
I think that Watford game was a little bit, he was very unlucky with a few chances. There was one where the ball was coming in, he was almost prepared to put it into the back of the net, and then a Watford player just had a little touch to put him off from putting it into the back of the net. And there was one where he had a fantastic shot to score against, I forget the name of the Watford goal. I think it's like Saw or something like that. Yeah. The Watford keeper. He fantastic save on that one. I think it was just yesterday. I don't really want to talk too much about international because USA didn't do too great yesterday. But England. The only thing, I didn't really watch the game, but the only thing I saw was a picture of Jack Grealish drinking water. But not sure what that's about.
Well, I saw the first half, and he did less than just drinking water in the first half, but he did set one up in the second half. But yeah. What I would say quickly about that game is... Sorry, carry on. I
was just going to say, I think if Hungary would have had Tanganga, it would have been a different story.
Hungary won't have Tanganga.
No, I mean, all I'll say about that is whatever happened in the game has been overshadowed by the racism again, which is an absolute disgrace. I mean, UEFA banned them from having fans in the stadium because of issues like this, and FIFA just let them get ahead and do it, and then they wonder why this stuff happens. But I don't know where that ends. It's got to have stronger, instead of closed doors, kick them out of tournaments. But then
Chris,
these people aren't fans, are they? So then how do you go with that? But it's just an absolute disgrace after the year we've had and everything going on, and you still get this. And
No, but Chris, if you want to talk about this, it'll be another 3-hour stream. So no.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention.
But to tell you the truth, what Southgate said is very true, right? Look at ourselves first before you look at other people. What happened during the Wembley final and after what happened, to the 3 kids that got all the abuse and all that. So all these problems are world problems, right? So, and it's crept into football now. And if football doesn't make a stance soon, hold on, yes, Dad, go ahead.
I said I'm sorry about it, Chris, but I said I couldn't come on for that long because I'm at school now. Thanks so much for having me on for this amount of time.
Problem.
I'm sorry that I had to leave this early into the stream. It looked like it was going to look like a good stream, but I want to tell the viewers, Chris, and subscribe to Let's Talk Tottenham. If you want to be notified every time he makes a video, make sure you smash the bell as well.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And just before you go, you've got a channel yourself. So where can people find that? And likewise, I saw a tweet that you posted on. You're near 100 subscribers, so get subscribed to Dan's channel, hit those likes. But for people who don't know where they can find it, where can they find it?
I think it's frozen.
Yeah, I'm away from the 100.
Yeah, I think Dan's frozen.
Internet.
Last chance. See if his internet comes back. Where can people find your stream if they don't know already?
My channel is Dan THFD. 90 subscribers now. 2 more away from 100. So yeah, I mean, if we talk about Tottenham, we have the Monday podcast where we bring on guests. When FIFA 22 comes out, I'll start doing the FIFA Tottenham career mode again. I do my live match reaction to all the goals. My previews for the games, my reviews, and when something big happens, like in the Tottenham world, I do it. So yeah, that's where you can find me. And also, I'm gonna be starting a new show. But it's gonna be starting on Twitch. It's gonna be called Wake Up with Dan. It's gonna be Tottenham news, but like in the morning, right before, like at this type of time, right before heading off to school, and it's gonna be pretty much just going through the Spurs news.
Excellent. Well, Dan's Twitter handle and YouTube channel will be in the description, so you can find that there. Cheers, Dan. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks
Have
for
a good day
having
in
me.
school.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on,
Come
you
on, you
Spurs.
Spurs. Yeah. Oh, yeah, so we're going back to the racism thing and all that. Come on. It's not only in football. It's all over the world. So it's a world problem. It's crept into football. And it's always been there, to tell you the truth, right? So I guess the authorities have to be more stringent about these type of things. But, they always get a slap on the wrist and it goes on.
Yeah. It's just so depressing, isn't it, that every month we're bloody talking about it. But, I mean, it had to be mentioned. But
True.
Yeah. Let's go on to the transfer window. Out of 10, transfer window out of 10. What are your... obviously, what were your initial thoughts on the day the transfer window closed, and has that number changed now?
For me, in the early stages, I was looking at a 3. Okay. On the last day of the transfer window, we got in Emerson and we got rid of Sissoko and Aurier. Okay. And so I'll push it to a 5, a very average kind of transfer window. If we do dip into the domestic market, maybe I'll give it another point if we do get a striker in. Right? I'll give it another point. Because more or less, like everybody's been harping on, we haven't bought players to for the right now. That's one issue. And to actually improve our weaknesses, like we are lacking a backup striker. We didn't get a backup striker. We're lacking a creative midfielder. We didn't get a creative midfielder. But like a lot of us, to tell the truth, you can't get everything done in one window. Correct?
No.
Correct. And the kind of money that we were willing to spend wasn't there, right? Of course, the last one that I was really hoping for, maybe we could get Aurier or Neves to come in. But Levy's not going to... From day one, don't forget, Chris, I've always been saying, Levy is not going to spend more than 25 to 30 million pounds on a player, right? So that's it. Look at what he bought. Cash, right? Don't forget, not including swap, okay? Because Hill came with a swap and cash, which is, I think, his value, if you include that, it's more than 30 million pounds, or maybe more or less the same. But no, in the end, of course, not cash straight up. I mean, in the deal, right? Levy doesn't Levy doesn't pay upfront everything.
I mean, at the time, I was pretty angry. I thought we need a striker, backup striker. We need a playmaker. We've now bought our 57th right back that we've got in the squad. We hadn't got rid of Aurier yet or anybody, and it was just a calamity. Whereas now I'm with you, a 5 out of 10. I was annoyed with Papi Sarr, which I'm sure will be a good signing and a good player, but we need players for now, not for the future. Dan's mentioned with Emerson Royal, it was his dream to play for Barcelona and he wanted to stay, which I don't really know how to read into that. I mean,
no, to me, it's that if Emerson comes to Spurs, he performs well, right? And maybe in 2 or 3 years' time, when Barca has back their money, right, we can sell him for 100 million pounds to Barca.
Yeah, well, I'm sure I read on Twitter that when he signed for Barcelona not that long ago, they stuck quite a hefty release clause on him.
300 million euros on him or something.
So they obviously rated him quite highly, and then they've let him go. But you look at that, look at their strike force now. It's the guy from Denmark, I can't remember his name, and the guy who played for Newcastle. Who
you're talking about
De Jong and Braithwaite. When you consider that they've got rid of Griezmann. They got rid of
Depay. They brought in Depay.
But I mean, but that strike force ain't going to win the Champions League. I'll be amazed if they win that Champions League. And then they also they're having to get rid of people because they're in debt. Whereas Real Madrid can then bid 190 odd million for Mbappe, but they're both in the same amount of debt. It's an absolute disgrace. But yeah, I mean,
it's true.
Yeah,
I mean, they're doing the Levy again, all the smoke and mirrors. We're bidding 220 million euros for Mbappe, but actually behind we're just putting 22 million.
But I mean, going to Emerson Royal, my issue with it is, do we need him? Tanganga started the season really well. obviously Aurier's gone now, so we've obviously lost one. So we've essentially replaced Aurier. Matt Doherty, not sure about him and where he fits in. But I mean, does Emerson Royal now become the first choice right back, or does he have to fight it out against Tanganga? Or is Tanganga the first choice right back and Emerson Royal is backup, and then it's up to him to prove? And do we need him? Obviously, you'd say yes now, but when I wrote that question, it was before Aurier had left. So I'd say the answer now is yes, we do need him in the squad. But I mean, who's first choice right back for you? Palace is in 8 days, something like that. Who plays as right back for you?
I think how I see it is like this, Chris. At the moment, I think if we still play the 4-3-3 or the 4-3-2-1, right? Tanganga will still be at right back, okay? And of course, Palace, I think Nuno will still stick to the formula that he has. He won't change it. But depending on how it goes then when the Chelsea game comes along. I think Royal has been, Emerson. I don't call him Royal, call him Emerson. Emerson has been brought in to facilitate a different formation. Maybe we're going to play 3 at the back or 5 at the back, right? With wing backs going forward, bombing forward, right? Maybe a 3-5-2 or maybe a 5-3-2. And let's see how it goes from there, right? But at the moment, still not proven. Don't forget, still not proven. He will have to fight his way into the squad. I don't think Nuno is going to give it to him straight like that just because, your Emerson, your name has got Royal behind it, right? And I don't think that's his actual, Royal is not the actual name that he carries. His actual name is quite long. Some Emerson something, Brazilian name in there. I guess he will have to fight for his spot. But we're in the League Cup. And then the ECL is coming up, and then sooner or later FA Cup will be coming along. So, like I said, it helps in the depth of the squad that we have. All right, we saw that depth when they played Pacos de Ferreira away in Portugal, and we all were screaming, right? What is going on? Can't the seniors carry the juniors, and how are we going to survive? We have a backup squad of that caliber, but. I guess it's what you call a rebuild, right? So we have to be a bit patient. Maybe in January this year, we never actually have done proper January transfer windows, right? In our history. Maybe this year with Paratici around, right? Maybe he's put some up there to get rid of, and maybe he still can bring some in during the January transfer window, right? Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, good point here from Sweaty Cockrell. Very big support of the podcast. Thanks so much. Problem with buying players for now. We can't attract anyone decent with our transfer budget. 7th position in Conference League at the start of the rebuild, which I do get that point, which is a good point in terms of the players that we want to attract. But yeah, I just and Papi Sarr is probably a good one for the future, and it will be a good one for the future. And he's still playing football now. He's very young. Will be playing football because he's gone back to Metz. Yeah. Although knowing that he's gone in a year, will they play as much?
Yeah. But you imagine, Chris, if we were in the Champions League, right? Kunde would have come, right? Sabitzer would have come, right? A lot of top players would come to us because if we were in the Champions League. So I guess the target, that's why I said somehow or another, we've been brainwashed in our brain, like our target is always be top 4. But why can't we be brainwashed in our brain that our target is be number 1? Right? Yeah. So as fans of Tottenham Hotspur, we've always been brainwashed in that way. Oh, top 4 is a good thing, right? But I wouldn't mind top 4 and a cup, right? For so many years that, when during Poch reign, we were at the semi-finals of, not say the Champions League or anything, the semi-finals of the League Cup, semi-finals of the FA Cup. And like all of a sudden, Poch will come out and say, we're focusing on top 4. So the team going out this weekend to play the semi-finals is going to be, a diluted team. We're not going to put our strongest team out there and all that. So I guess if during that time, if Poch have won us a couple of cups, it'll be a totally different scenario. The whole thing will be different. So I guess that one mistake that our great chairman has made.
Yeah, I mean, I think getting back into the top 4 is imperative this season. If, like Sweaty Cockrell says, we want to buy the players for now and anyone decent. Because, I mean, Europa Conference below Europa League. We are what you consider a big team, I'd say, being a big name, and we have been in the Champions League quite a lot, so we have our stock has risen in that respect. But yeah, and it's just gone down a bit. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the players we still need, what positions do we still need, in your opinion? For me, we need a playmaker. So I saw someone on Twitter, I can't remember who said it, we've got creativity, Hill and Lo Celso. It's not the right creativity for me. You can get Hill on the ball and then he can be creative there, but the issue is the creativity to get him the ball in the first place, so he's one-on-one. And Lo Celso, for me, just doesn't do it. We saw that against Pacos. He's one of the more experienced players, along with Winks. They just didn't drag us through at all, and it was like a hot potato, that ball. They were just giving it back to whoever. As soon as they got it, you've got to take responsibility there. And he's a driver, similar to Ndombele. He's not a player who's going to ping a 50-yard pass.
Don't go there.
50-year-old.
Don't ping a 50-year-old. You know what?
I'm getting my measurement systems all mixed up. Yeah. He's not going to ping a 50-yard pass every 5 minutes. He's going to try and drive, and then if he gets tackled, then we're under possession. So I still think we need that playmaker, and we unless Scarlett's going to get big game time and he is the real deal, we need a backup striker. But if he is the real deal and we get a backup striker, he's not going to be loaned out, and then that backup striker was number 2, and Scarlett only plays 2 games a season. Yeah. Then the backup striker's not the right thing to do. If you're going to give Scarlett the chance and try and see if he is good enough. Yeah. But like you said earlier, 17-year-old as a backup striker to the best striker in the world is with hardly any game time. And but the reason we need the creativity is you saw him against Pacos. He literally had nothing. He was feeding off less than scraps. And this is a guy that you're trying to integrate into the first team, get used to playing first team, get used to taking chances and getting chances. So, yeah, I mean, there's a long rant for me there. Positions that you think we still need.
Yeah. Like the Pacos game, right? During the friendlies, we were all hyping up on Niall John. But when the Pacos game came around, he disappeared. So I guess he's still not there yet. And of course, like Scarlett, like Bob Spur has been saying, right? You can't put all that pressure on a 17-year-old. But if he does turn out to be a gem at 17-year-old, then good for us. But we are not going to take that risk, hopefully. I hope our director of football and Nuno and our owners see that, right? And don't forget, we need a creative midfielder who can score free kicks. We are missing that part, right? We haven't had someone who can score a direct free kick in so long, I miss, when Eriksen had the ball and it's in the 89th minute, right? And we're at the edge of the box and he pings it in, that we haven't had that feeling in so long. I haven't had that feeling in so long. The excitement that you get, Eriksen's taking it, it's going in, right? Nowadays, we got a free kick. Who's going to take it? Oh, please not Harry Kane. Then say, who then? Oh, please not Eric Dyer. Then who then? Yeah. Oh, please not Son. And then it makes it into a weird scenario where our corners now are all taken by Son or Lo Celso, right? And Son's corners are better than Lo Celso. You can see it very obviously. But if you've got Son taking the corners, right, who is backing up Kane in the box? You get what I'm saying? Well, so maybe
that's the 2 central defenders, isn't it, with the height that comes from them? But
so like I said, even at the edge of the box, if Son is hanging around there, he could smash one in from outside. But like I said, we can't be choosy. Window has closed. We have to accept what we have, and like I said, the process is with Nuno. Nuno knows what he's doing. And of course, like you're saying, Ndombele, after Aurier has left and Sissoko has left. But don't forget, Lloris is still around, right? And Lloris is the captain of France, okay? So hopefully Lloris will put his hands around Ndombele and say, boy, come on. Buck up. If you do well here, I'll put a word in for you for the Shams, right? You bring you back into the squad, right? So at least maybe that will happen. But I don't know. It might not happen at all. He might sulk and he might not play for the next 6 months. And maybe Paratici has a plan to sell him in January. So, but if he doesn't play, how are you going to sell him?
Yeah, I mean, well, he's not going to be sold, is he? If he doesn't play, because Levy wants as close to 60 million or more as possible, and no one's going to bid that if he's not playing. But I really hope it's what Daniel said. The 2 kids, best friends at the at school, and you separate them, and then it's very similar to. I may have got the first player wrong, but very similar to Sir Alex Ferguson at Man United. He got rid of Lee Sharp, even though he was a good player, because he thought he's a bad influence on Ryan Giggs, and Ryan Giggs has the potential to be one of the best of his generation. So he sacrificed Lee Sharp to get the best out of Ryan Giggs, and then you have to say now that worked. But I did say Lee Sharp. I could be wrong with that. Yeah, I could be wrong with Lee Sharp, but it was definitely one player he got rid of to get the best out of Ryan Giggs, because he thought that player was leading him astray. So I really hope it's what Daniel says, that's the case. But I really struggle to accept that Ndombele's got a weak mentality, because this is a guy that Jose Mourinho called out on live TV saying he was awful and everything. And then instead of just sulking and going into himself, he bucked up, knuckled down, and forced his way in. Yeah. So I really struggle to think he's got a weak mentality.
I don't think it's a weak mentality, Chris. I think it's a selective mentality. You know, you become selective. You know, if you want to play, you play. You don't want to play, you don't feel like playing. So that's not weak. That's how you say that. You know, I said mood swings, right? If you're happy, you perform 100%. You're not that happy, you go down to 60%. Hi, Wayne. Thanks for the support, Wayne. Right. So selective mentality or weak mentality. Right. I think in the end of the day, maybe Lloris and Nuno can help him out there. And like what you said, Dan said, right? You know, the bad influence are not around anymore. And hopefully he improves. And to tell the truth, right? Why wouldn't he look at it in such a way that even Sissoko was selected for the French team, right? And why I'm not, you know? He should look at it in that way, right? Right. I don't know. So now Sissoko is going to Watford. I'm sure he get more play time there. And if he does perform, right, he will still be ahead of him. So that means he has to step up now to perform, to show that he should be given a chance to be picked. Right. Yeah. To me, at the moment, I still look at the World Cup in 2022, which is actually in end of the year in 2022, in November to December, right? That should be most of all those international players' targets now, to get the attraction of your international coach, right? To be in his mind that you're part of the squad, right? Don't even say the first team, say squad first, right? And you know, along the way, when you reach next year, November, right, injuries happen, you know, this happen, people have drop of form, and you might get yourselves a chance to prove yourself, right? That's how I see it.
Yeah, I mean, I struggle to see where he's going to fit in. I don't think he can replace Højbjerg or Skip, because he doesn't have the I can't think of the word. The he wants to go. He wants to go forward, whereas those two players have to stay back. I can't think of the word. It will probably come to me when I end the stream.
But what I say, but if you bring Ndombele back, discipline, yes, okay. If you bring Ndombele back, right, I wouldn't want him to sit back. I want him to go forward.
See? And so I think he has to replace Dele's position.
Yes, he has to either take Dele's position or Gio's position. For to tell the truth, that position we're looking at now is actually being fought between Dele, Gio, and him. You see, that creative midfield part, right? And the way this year Dele has been performing, I think Nuno maybe has told him cut off all that shenanigans of, you know, your trick footballing and all that. Focus back on your fitness and focus back on, you know, the defensive part to help the players out. Your time will come that you can use your tricks, okay? And don't forget, he's one of those midfielders, right, that runs in from the back and scores, right? And in the past 3 games plus the friendly match against Arsenal, we did see him do that run, but he didn't put it behind the net, right? He had a great chance against Watford, right? But why did he side-foot it to the left, where he could have just smashed it right down the middle or to the right? Right? Yeah. So that's why I said. So it takes time, right? Everything comes down to Nuno, his training, right? And I'm sure Dele wants to get back into the England squad, right?
He has to.
He needs to get back into the England squad. But the problem, don't forget, his position in the England squad, right, is it's filled with talented players in that position now. You got Mount, you got Foden, you got Grealish, right? Those are, you know, young too, okay? And of course, you got the £100 million man, right? So, So what Southgate is going to do? But at least if you get into the squad, like I said, someone gets injured, you know, someone doesn't have form, you're in Southgate's mind.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Just on Ndombele, Wayne Bonner. Wayne always watches this stream, comments on it, and not just this stream, but plenty of streams. A massive supporter. Thanks so much, Wayne. Does Tanguy have the mentality, belief, and capability to step up and show his talent? Which I would say he has, because he did that when Mourinho called him out. But it must be quite difficult for him as well. Really, he's had in his Spurs career, he hasn't been here that long. He's had 4 managers, if you include Mason in that. So he's young as well. He's constantly changing his not approach, but not philosophy, but how he has to play, because the manager wants different things. So I think he needs stability in a manager. But he is down the pecking order. Obviously, Dele is the preferred choice in that kind of number 10 role behind Kane, Son, and Bergwijn and Moura, whoever of those 3 play. But I think that's his position, and that's where they're fighting out. And I think that will be good for both of them if Ndombele decides he wants to step up, like Wayne's questioned, because then that gives competition to the both of them, which I'm sure that part of the reason Dele has dropped off is because there was no competition for his position there. He didn't have to do anything. He could go to the hairdresser, he'd go see his friends, he'd go and see his girlfriend, do all of this. Didn't have to train as hard because he knew he was playing. Whereas if he has that competition, and then you stick Lo Celso in that mix as well, you got 3 of them. So I think it will help. But and like I said, I really struggle to comprehend that Tanguy doesn't have the mentality to step up, because he did that under Mourinho, and that's a manager there that if you're not doing what Mourinho wants, there's no compromise here. It's you do what I want or you're out of the team. There's no compromise in that. And he stepped up, and he was a fixture of Jose's team. I just hope that happens, and then we have that competition for places Yeah, but I don't think any of those 3 can play in Højbjerg or Skip's position. I don't think they've got the discipline to just sit deep. They want to go forward all the time. Winks maybe, if Nuno can get his coaching clause into him to do that, because they essentially pass sideways anyway, which is a trait of Winks. So he's got that kind of discipline there. It's just the positional, but yeah.
That's true. But like in the second game when we played at home, Winks started, right? If I'm not mistaken, against Pacos de Ferreira. Winks he
played in the European game.
Yeah, ECL game. He looked more forward-thinking with his games, with his balls going forward instead of sideways and back, right? But in the end of the day, if you talk about Tanguy, like I said, mentality could be selective, right? Whether he chooses to perform or doesn't want to perform, whether he wants to put in the work and all that. But maybe sometimes the positioning of the coach using him doesn't suit him, which is a lot of people use the argument about Winks, right? He's not played in the correct position. He's usually played out of his position. So that's why you don't see him reaching his potential. But let's see how it goes now with Nuno there. Nuno as the manager or head coach or whatever they want to call him nowadays, right? It's for him to make the decisions and choices of the players that we have and to improve them. And if in the end of the day, whatever happens to Tanguy, if he really decides he wants to sulk for the next 6 months and don't want to do anything, then it's up to him. Then Nuno most probably will sideline him and put him into the under-23s, right? And we still have to pay his weekly wages and all that. And let's see how it goes from there, right? So, but like I said, the World Cup is around the corner. If he does really want to, if he wants to be a footballer first, okay, he should buck up. And I'm sure the mentality is there, right? Right. And like I said before, you're being paid that kind of money, right? 200 grand a week, right? That is like how many times our salary a month? Right.
I don't get that in a year, let alone
yeah. No, you're not in a year. Sorry, not a year. Yeah, not even a month. Sorry, in a year. We don't even get that in a year, right?
I'm not even sure I get it in 5 years, but yeah.
Yeah. But he gets a week, right? So maybe that's why sometimes a lot of fans do that comparison, and that's where all the bad feelings build up. We're paying you so much, right? And I don't get that much even in 10 years, right? Why aren't you doing your job? I know, perform. Even if you don't want to play for a team, be a professional. Do your job.
Yeah.
Your job is to play football, right? Your job is to score goals. Your job is to, do this. Your job is to do that. But I understand. Like I said, that's why sometimes we don't want to look too deep into it. But in the end, he's human too. Don't forget, he's human too. He's got feelings, and like you're saying, like in the olden days, no social media, no, all the things that can hit you directly. In the olden days, you could do a lot of things and get away with it, right? Not being found out. But nowadays, whatever you do, you can't hide anymore, right? Unless you go and do that something in some isolated island, nobody knows that you're there, right? Then you can. But now with COVID, the scenarios around, you can't even leave the country without anybody knowing because, everybody has got to be checked where you're going. And when you come back, then you ask you, where have you been? Oh, you've been to that. It's a red list country. You can't play. You're isolated. You have to go into quarantine for 10 days, 15 days. So privacy is gone. And abuse is easier to, hurl that to at players nowadays. So I think a lot of players now, emotionally, they are very fragile because you get too much bombardment from social media. You're seeing people actually cursing you out. I mean, in the stadium while you're playing is more or less a different kind of scenario because you're in the game, right? Your focus is at the game. Whatever says going around at the side, you don't feel it that much until after the game, like you sit back down and you go through the videos and say, oh my God, why is this guy shouting at me, in all these terms and, nah. Right? Then after that, when you switch on your Twitter feed and you go, oh my God, I'm being bombarded by, all the whatever. So then it brings you down, right? So that's why I said this year, maybe the Spurs fan can have a bit of change of mentality, right? Support the team, support the manager, give them positive vibes. Every time I start my Sunday show, how I go is that give the players the positive vibes, right? Support the team, support the players, right? No negative vibes for them, right? But still leave you out.
Yeah. I mean, right, last bit before we finish the stream. Obviously, this transfer window's closed. There's another one in January. Do you think we'll be looking at anyone there, or do you think that completely depends on where we are in January? At this moment in time, it's only 3 games, but we're top of the league, so you'd have to say kind of at the moment nothing needs to change because we're top of the league, although that's a bit of a silly comment after 3 games. But come January or mid-December, if we're still in that title, right at the top echelons,
top 4 race. Don't say title race.
Yeah, if we're at the top echelons of that league and playing well and everything like that, do you think Levy will go, well, we don't need anyone, or Nuno will say we don't need anyone, I've got the squad I need here? Or do you think there'll be, well, we could do with a few more players here for the squad and then we'll look into that? Or and similarly, if we're below where we are at the moment and nowhere near that, do you think it'd be right? We need reinforcements. We need to boost ourselves up that league. What do you think will happen in January, and what do you think will depend what happens in January?
Chris, to tell the truth, I'm not actually looking that far yet. I'm still looking at the domestic transfer window first, right, to see whether we still can bring someone in from the championship, maybe some talent, or somebody who has playing time before, or maybe someone with experience in the Premier League. Right, there is a striker out there called Mitrovic, right? He's for Fulham. He's the top striker. And somehow or another, Mitrovic always seems like a good option, but whenever he comes up to the Premier League, he never performs. I do not know why. Maybe some kind of karma thing against him. But whenever he drops back down into the championship, right, he's like the top scorer. And that blows my mind, you see. But maybe we won't take a chance on him. But of course, I do expect what Paratici will do is, right, he'll still be working. Don't forget, Paratici doesn't stop working, right? He's always on his phone looking for players. So most probably from now, right, let's say we're in September early, right, until 1st of December, most probably Paratici will have lined up 300 players for us to choose. To go for, right? And then it'll be up to Levy whether he's going to spend. Or maybe Nuno said that I don't need so many. Maybe I need one. One more player, just one more player, right? Or 2, right? Or if we do get the backup striker, we need 1 creative midfielder. Someone who can score free kicks, right? Direct free kicks, okay? And put the ball in nice and all that. So that's what I hope for.
Yeah, I mean,
300 players.
Well, I just want someone, a midfielder, creative one who can string a game together and hold a game together and keep the ball. That's why Neves would have been superb, I think. But I mean, we can't really complain. We're top of the league, no goals conceded, 3 out of 3. We can't really complain. See how it goes after the international break with Palace, Chelsea, Arsenal in the league. Big 3 games there. But that's for another day and another stream. Eugin, always a pleasure having you on. Always a pleasure talking to you.
My pleasure to be on.
So
Thanks for having me on. Yeah.
Oh, no, pleasure's all mine. As we've already said, and they can see by your name there, Spursuasian TV is your YouTube channel. You mentioned it. And on the left, I missed that. If people didn't hear at the start, or they don't know where it is or anything about it, what do you do in there? What streams do you do on there? I know this, obviously, but for people who don't know, and where can they find you?
Yep, guys, if you're watching this after the live stream, right, don't forget to smash a like for Chris' channel, right, Talk Tottenham. Give him a subscribe, right, on his channel. He does great content, right. If you want to find me, find me on Spursuasian TV. I can use my fingers correctly again. Oh, this way. What the heck, right. And usually we do have 2 shows a week. One is the midweek show, which is I co-host with Saikat from Bangalore Spurs or Kolkata Spurs from India. Right, that's when we go through the midweek happenings and all that. But let me see about this week whether we do have a midweek show or not, because we're still part of the international break. But Sundays is usually my regular show. We do it at 1 p.m. GMT. For this Sunday, I'm going back to introducing fans again of Spurs. Right, so we have a good lineup. If Chris, you're free, hop on. I'll send you the link.
Yeah, I should be.
Right. We have quite a lineup set up already. Some people who have not been on the, actually they've been on the on my stream, but they haven't gone through that process of introducing themselves. Like, I like to talk about how you became a Spurs fan, how the history behind how you came to love the club, right? And of course the future. What is your future expectations of the club? That is always the laugh. But guys, if you have time, if you're watching after the live stream, do give a subscribe and like to Chris, and give a subscribe to and for Spursuasian TV. Find us, and I always like to do the bridging between the Asian fans and the international fans around the world. Right? Big up.
Excellent. Yeah. So hit those likes, hit those subscribes on here, Spursuasian TV, and Daniel's channel as well.
Yep,
all the
Daniel's
descriptions
channel,
will be all the links will be in the description. Hopefully you'll be back next Friday. I think that's the Friday before we're playing Palace. For a preview of that one. But I mean, for the next 8 days or so, no one can overtake us. We are top of the tree. Enjoy that while it lasts, and come on, you Spurs, as always.
Come on, you Spurs.
Thank you so much for watching. For everybody who participated in the live chat and added comments, before you go, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Anybody who couldn't watch the live video, you can still catch us on YouTube. Add any comments, suggestions or questions to the comments section on the video. Anybody who's listened to the audio-only podcast, thank you so much for listening. Anybody who wants the audio-only podcast, you get this wherever you get your podcast from. Alternatively, if you go to Twitter, @Talk Tottenham, you'll find all the information there. We'll be back soon. We're live Mondays, 8 p.m, Fridays, 12:30 UK time. Until then, come on, you Spurs!